In 2018, Insomniac Games did the impossible. They didn't just make a good Spider-Man game, they made the definitive Spider-Man story. It had heart, it had a focused rogues gallery, and it had an ending that left us all in tears. So when Spider-Man 2 was announced, we thought it was a slam dunk. Craven, Venom, two playable Spider-Man, it seemed like the ultimate power fantasy. But here we are in 2026, the PC port is out, the no DLC announcement has officially killed the hype, and the dust has finally settled. And the truth is frankly uncomfortable. Spider-Man 2 is a mechanical masterpiece, but a narrative failure. It's a game that moved faster but felt smaller. So today we're going into the insane details on why the bigger sequel somehow lost the soul of the original. But before we get into this video, if you guys don't know me by now, I'm MrFrostyFlamez, but you can call me Mike. I do anything gaming, analysis, retrospect, reviews, anything FGC related, and gaming period. So if you enjoy these analysis videos and you want to see more, hit that sub button to join the MrFrostyFlamez Legion. Now back to the video. To start, I want to talk about the narrative pacing. So let's do the math. Spider-Man 1 was about 20 hours for the main story, focusing entirely on Peter Parker's descent from mentor to orphan. It was tight. Spider-Man 2 was also about 19 to 20 hours, but it had two protagonists. Do you see the problem? By splitting the runtime between Peter and Miles, neither character gets the cooking time they deserve. Peter's symbiote arc, which should have been a slow, agonizing corruption, happens in what feels like a weekend. He gets the suit, gets kinda mean to his friends for 3 missions, and then it's gone. In the original, the build-up to Doc Ock took like years of in-game history and hours of cutscenes. In the sequel, Venom exists for the final 20% of the game. It's a greatest hits version of the symbiote saga that moves so fast you don't actually feel the weight of the betrayal. And that's the thing that I really was looking forward to in Spider-Man 2. When I found out that you could get that black suit Spider-Man, it reminded me of Spider-Man 3 because I know it was just bad in some people's opinions, but growing up I have so much nostalgia from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3. So I loved the black suit Spider-Man. I wanted to play as bad Peter Parker for a long time. I want to see his slow descent into madness, kind of like how, you know, it builds up him being mean to his friends, but I just want that for longer. But it was kind of rushed because we had to divide the playtime between Miles and Peter, which means that Peter could have had that extra couple hours of playtime, you know, as Black Suit Spider-Man, but since it's only they aimed for like a 20-hour game, we weren't able to get that. And an easy fix would just be to add more hours to the game. I know it sounds very like simple, but that's just really the fix. Give us more of a longer story and actually build out both characters correctly. And if you haven't seen my Spider-Man 3 video, because I made a video talking about how Silk is going to be the third protagonist in Spider-Man 3, they need to fix this issue now, because if they go for the same runtime, like 20 hours, 3 protagonists maybe isn't going to cut it. And moving on, I want to talk about a massive debate in the community about Peter's portrayal in Spider-Man 2. In the first game, Peter was a veteran. He was a scientist, a genius, a powerhouse who took down the Sinister Six while his ribs were literally broken. In Spider-Man 2, there's a weird persistent nerfing of Peter to make Miles look better. He's constantly getting trapped, knocked out, or needing to be saved by MJ, who for some reason is now a tier 1 Spec Ops super soldier with a stun gun. I'm all for Miles stepping up, but it shouldn't come at a cost of making Peter look incompetent after 8 years on the job. The balance between mentor and student shifted too fast into the retiree and successor. And for many of us who grew up with Peter, it felt like a forced passing of the torch rather than an earned one. Now let's take a step away from the story and talk about gameplay detail. Spider-Man 1 had the gadget wheel. You had the trip mines, impact web, web bombs, suspension matrix. It allowed for some insane combat creativity. You could play the game like it was Batman Arkham with a web shooter. In Spider-Man 2, they gutted the gadgets. They replaced the wheel with 4 cooldown abilities. This turned the combat from a creative sandbox into a cooldown manager. You just wait for your symbiote punch or Miles chain lightning to refresh, press 2 buttons and clear the screen. It's flashy, sure, it looks great in 4K, but it's less Spider-Man and more superhero brawler. They lowered the skill ceiling to make the combat more accessible, but in doing so, they removed the satisfaction of actually being a science spider who uses tech to win. And then there's something I like to call the open world vacuum. The map is twice its size, but there's half as much to do. In the first game, the side content felt integrated. The Taskmaster challenges, the research stations, the actual crimes that felt like they mattered to the city. In Spider-Man 2, the open world feels like a checklist of chores. The Prowler stashes and the EMF experiments are mostly walking simulators or simple puzzles. And the biggest crime? the removal of the social feed, and the lack of meaningful post-game content. Once you hit that platinum trophy, which, let's be real, you could do it in like 25 hours, there is zero reason to keep swinging. The city feels like a beautiful, high-resolution museum. It's pretty to look at, but you can't touch anything. And finally, we have to address the 2026 reality. There is no DLC coming. Spider-Man 1 gave us the city that never sleeps, which added about like 10 hours or so of story, and it properly introduced Black Cat and Hammerhead, so that kept the game alive. Spider-Man 2 left so many dangling threads. Carnage is out there, Chameleon is out there, the Silk teaser at the end. We all waited for a year for an expansion that was never coming. Insomniac has moved all resources to Wolverine and Spider-Man 3, leaving the second game feeling like an incomplete middle chapter. It's a $70 experience that feels like it's missing its third act, and in the current gaming and economy, that just doesn't sit right with me. I'm pretty sure it doesn't sit right with a lot of people. You know, when I was playing these side stories for the first time, I seen Chameleon, I seen Carnage, and I was like, God, this would be so badass, you know what I mean? You know, a side story, because I don't think Carnage would be in its own game because we already have Venom, right? So imagine like a DLC where you're taking down Carnage, especially on that cliffhanger ending to his side story. The same thing with Chameleon, but we just never got it. It's missing. So in my opinion, I'm just like, bruh, where did all this content go? Where's all like the 3 DLC like Spider-Man 1 got? And I know you gotta pay for it, more story, but man, this game is actually good and I want to play it. And I know, you know, I've been talking trash about it this whole time. These are just like things that I want Spider-Man 3 to not do. I'm talking about why Spider-Man 2 is worse than Spider-Man 1, because Spider-Man 3 needs to go back to the roots and make sure that it has a longer playtime, so then you could equally distribute the playtime between the 3 protagonists, Peter, Miles, and Silk. And trust me, I love Spider-Man 2. I love Spider-Man 1. I'm probably gonna love Spider-Man 3, whatever they come up with. But the thing is, Spider-Man 2 isn't a bad game. It's just a game that was disappointing compared to the first one. And as gamers, I feel like we've been through so much crap that we don't deserve, you know, a downhill trend. We deserve something better. And there were a lot of things in Spider-Man 2 that did better on the first game, but just there were some important aspects that just probably weren't thought through and that could be easily fixed in Spider-Man 3. There was also a lot of just like stupid decisions in the story. Like, remember that scene where Peter Parker was like fighting for his life, fighting against those Venom people, and Miles was just like, it would transition back to Miles and he was just talking to that his deaf girlfriend or whatever. Like, that was stupid. Like, they made that a meme, like, oh, Spider-Man Peter is like fighting for his life, you know, he's about to die, and then in the meanwhile, like, Miles is just risen up some huzz, you know what I mean? It's crazy. And did you see those Spider-Man Miles Morales? Like, okay, his costumes are pretty good, right? But he has some of the worst designed costumes. We're like, what the fuck is that, right? It's crazy. They gotta make this like good. I know this is just like nitpicking at this point, but like these are just like memeable stuff, right? That, you know, you could improve on in the third game. So in the end, like I said, Spider-Man 2 isn't a bad game. It's probably like an 8 out of 10 in a world that expected like an 11. It's technically superior, the web swings are a revelation, and the zero load fast travel is magic. But I forgot that Spider-Man is about the person behind the mask. The first game is a story about Peter Parker's sacrifice. The second game is a story about a studio trying to fit too many ideas into a 20-hour box. It's a spectacle, but I'd trade all of the symbiote surge mechanics in the world for one more scene that felt as real as Peter and Aunt May in that hospital room. But what about you? Are you still swinging through New York City, or did you go back to the 2018 original like I did? Let's argue about it in the comments. Well, that's it for today's video, guys. It's a little bit of a shorter one, or I guess it's average looking at the time now, but but I'm MrFrostyFlamez. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what other gaming analysis videos I'd like to do. I've been, you know, thinking like, what other game should I do? I've been doing a lot of FGC, a lot of superhero stuff. I do have a Massa or like a RPG one coming out, right? Or is it already out? I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll see by the time you see this video. But anyways, I'm MrFrostyFlamez. I hope you enjoyed this one. Like, subscribe, share, subscribe, and join the MrFrostyFlamez Legion. Anyways, you guys have a good one. MrFrostyFlamez out. Yeah.